Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed this? You understand English when you read it. You understand English when you hear it. But the moment you try to speak, your mind goes empty. You know the words, you know the grammar, but your mouth just doesn't cooperate. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of English learners feel exactly the same way, and most of them think the problem is this: I need to study more. But here's the hard truth: studying more is not what helps you speak English. In fact, for many people, studying too much is the reason speaking feels so difficult. For years, you've been taught to memorize rules, to learn long word lists, to focus on perfect sentences. So, your brain becomes very good at thinking about English, but very bad at using English. Speaking is not about knowing more. Speaking is about training. You don't learn to swim by reading about swimming. You don't learn to drive by watching someone else drive. You don't learn to play a sport by memorizing rules. You learn by doing, and English is exactly the same. If you've been studying for months or even years and still feel stuck when you speak, it doesn't mean you're bad at English. It just means you've been training the wrong thing. And once you change that, everything starts to feel different. Now let's talk about what really happens when you try to speak English. You open your mouth and suddenly everything slows down. You start thinking in your native language. You try to translate in your head. You worry about mistakes. You worry about sounding stupid. And in that moment, your English disappears. This is not because you forgot English. It's because your brain is under pressure. When you speak, your brain is trying to do too many things at once. It's translating, it's checking grammar, it's searching for the perfect word, it's worrying about how you sound. That's why speaking feels stressful. Your brain is not trained to speak automatically. It's trained to analyze. And analysis is slow. Speaking needs to be fast and natural. This is why you can understand English easily, but struggle to respond. Understanding is passive. Speaking is active. And if you don't train speaking directly, your brain freezes. The good news is this: nothing is wrong with you. Your English is not broken. Your memory is not weak. You just haven't trained your brain to speak smoothly yet. And once you start training it the right way, speaking stops feeling scary. It starts to feel normal. Here's the shift that changes everything. Studying English and speaking English are not the same thing. Studying is what you do with your eyes. Speaking is what you do with your mouth. Studying fills your brain with information. Training teaches your brain how to use that information. Most learners spend years studying. Very few spend time training. That's why speaking feels hard. Think about going to the gym. You can read books about exercise. You can watch videos about fitness. You can learn the names of every muscle. But none of that makes you strong. You only get stronger when you train your body. Speaking English works the same way. Your mouth is a muscle. Your brain needs repetition. Your confidence grows from action, not knowledge. When you study, you stop often, you think, you correct yourself, you worry about mistakes, but when you train, you keep moving. You don't stop to think about grammar. You don't translate every sentence. You focus on flow, not perfection. That's why people who know less English sometimes speak better than people who know more. They trained more, they spoke more, they practiced using English, not studying it. And this is the biggest mistake learners make. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until their grammar is perfect. They wait until they feel confident. But confidence doesn't come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. Once you stop treating English like a school subject and start treating it like a skill, everything becomes easier. And now, I'll show you exactly how to train your speaking in just 15 minutes a day. Now, let's talk about the solution. You don't need hours. You don't need long study sessions. You don't need complicated methods. What you need is a short daily routine that trains your brain to speak naturally. 15 minutes a day is enough if you use those minutes correctly, not once a week, not only when you feel motivated, every day. This routine is simple, repeatable, and easy to fit into a busy life. It has 3 parts. First, you train your ears. Second, you train your mouth. Third, you train your thinking. Each part is only a few minutes, but together they change the way you speak. You don't focus on rules. You don't chase perfection. You focus on flow and comfort. When you practice this way, your brain stops panicking when you speak. The first 5 minutes are for listening. Before your mouth can speak English, your ears need to feel comfortable with it. Many learners try to speak first, but their ears are not ready. That's why speaking feels hard. During these 5 minutes, you simply listen to English. You don't try to understand every word. You don't stop the audio again and again. You don't translate. You just listen. Let the sound of English enter your ears. The rhythm, the speed, the way sentences move. Even if you understand only part of it, your brain is still learning. This is how children learn language. They listen long before they speak. When you listen daily, your brain starts recognizing patterns. Words stop sounding strange. Sentences stop feeling fast. English begins to feel familiar. And when something feels familiar, it stops feeling scary. These 5 minutes prepare your brain for the next step. Now your ears are ready. Next, we train your mouth. Now it's time to use your voice. This part is where real change starts. For the next 5 minutes, you don't think, you don't analyze, you don't translate, you copy. You listen to a short sentence in English and you repeat it immediately. You don't wait. You don't stop the audio. You repeat with the same speed, the same rhythm, the same tone. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is movement. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. Your pronunciation may not be clear. Your timing may be slow. That's okay. What matters is that your mouth is moving while English is happening. When you copy like this, your brain and mouth start working together. You stop building sentences in your head. You start speaking automatically. This is how fluency begins. You're not creating English, you're absorbing it. And every day you do this, your speaking becomes smoother without you even noticing. Now comes the most important part. This is where English becomes yours. For the last 5 minutes, you speak about your own life. No memorization, no scripts, no pressure, just simple thoughts. You say what you're doing, what you see, what you feel. Right now, you might say, I'm watching this video. I'm learning English. I feel motivated. Later in the day, you might say, I'm working. I'm tired. I want to rest. These sentences are simple, but they are powerful. Because they are real. When you speak from your own life, your brain doesn't need to translate. It already knows the meaning. English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling like a tool. You don't speak fast. You don't rush. You speak calmly, clearly, naturally. And slowly, your confidence grows because now English is part of your daily life. You might be thinking, will this really work for me? Especially if you're shy, especially if you're afraid of mistakes, especially if speaking makes you nervous. The answer is yes. And here's why. This method removes pressure. You're not performing for anyone. You're not being judged. You're not trying to be perfect. You're simply training. When there is no pressure, your brain stays calm. And when your brain is calm, it learns faster. Mistakes stop feeling dangerous. They become part of the process. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, your brain gets stronger. Fluency doesn't come from being correct, it comes from being comfortable. This daily routine builds comfort, slowly, naturally, without stress. That's why even shy learners improve, because confidence doesn't come first. Confidence grows after repetition, and repetition, done gently every day, changes everything. Now let's be honest. This is not magic. This is not an overnight trick. But it works. In the first few days, you'll notice something small. English will feel less heavy, less scary. After 1 or 2 weeks, you'll start responding faster. You won't search for words as much. You won't freeze as often. After a few weeks, speaking will feel more natural. Not perfect, but easier. And that's real progress. The key is consistency, not motivation, not talent, not intelligence, just showing up for 15 minutes a day. If you do that, your English will grow quietly. One day, you'll realize you're speaking without fear. And that's when you know it's working. Now it's your turn, not tomorrow, not next week. Starting today. I want you to try this for just 7 days, only 15 minutes a day. 5 minutes listening, 5 minutes copying, 5 minutes speaking from your life. That's it. No grammar books, no pressure, no excuses. Just show up every day, even if you feel tired, even if you feel shy, even if you feel unsure. Because progress doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from taking action. After 7 days, pay attention to how you feel. You'll notice something has changed. English will feel lighter. Speaking will feel easier. Your fear will be smaller. And that's how confidence begins. If you're ready to take this challenge, write "I'm starting today" in the comments. And if this video helped you, stay with SpeakZ English. We're here to help you speak English naturally, confidently, and without fear. See you in the next lesson.